Hello, everyone. Steve Wyss here. Welcome to the All Sports Betting Podcast Cricket World Cup T20 previews. I'm joined by Kevin Harper as we continue our match previews for every single game in this tournament. And Monday was a good day, Kev, really, in a lot of different ways. It could have been amazingly good, but you smashed the two main bets. Scotland winning puts us en route to potentially getting a 25-1 winner in that group. And, weren't a million miles away from an 80-1 top batsman. You certainly got the right circumstances for it. So I'm sure you're feeling fairly pleased at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little disappointed, but like you say, I shouldn't really. I mean, we were just so close, weren't we, to that top batsman? I mean, when you back someone that far down the order, you need a lot of things to go with you, and everything had until the time that you got out, really. But such is life. We've had 4 matches in this tournament, though, Steve, and I think I've called everyone right so far. So I'm feeling like I've got a good early grip on the tournament, and that's a positive. And like you say, so many outrights, not just the Scotland one, but Little in that Ireland game. So many outrights have already done themselves no harm at all.
They certainly have. Very good day. We move on to Tuesday's fixtures now. We're back in Group A here in Geelong at Kardinia Park. So first thing, as we always do, we're going to check out the venue and the conditions. And, what did you make of... I didn't particularly like the wicket. I didn't particularly like the ground in match one here at Geelong. We know they've had some bad weather coming around, but I felt like the Hobart ground was far better for cricket, as you'd expect, because that's a proper cricket ground.
Yeah, pitch in Hobart, brilliant, and that's going to serve us well when we come on to Wednesday's matches. Yeah, I didn't like it, Steve, Geelong, a typical drop-in pitch. And actually, to be fair, if you watch Australian cricket throughout the whole summer, these drop-in pitches, they do tend to play like this. I mean, if you think of the most famous one, which would be the MCG, that has the Boxing Day Test match, and you rarely get a good Boxing Day Test match because the pitch just got nothing in it, because they're prepared somewhere else and then they get dropped in sort of 2 days beforehand, and it's just completely different, isn't it? Like you say, a proper cricket ground's a proper cricket ground, and that's what we want, really. Hopefully this will be on a different pitch to the one that we played. Same ground, just a different wicket. To what we played on Sunday. Hopefully it's a little bit more in it, but yeah, I'm not holding out much hope.
And I've just the weather forecast here for Geelong is pretty sunny for Tuesday, a bit like how it is here in Yorkshire. As you can see, there's a nice glare coming in my window as the sun is shining brightly, but nice conditions, nice weather. This match kicks off at 3 p.m. local time in Geelong, so no problems at all with that. But I mean, in terms of the wicket, is this going to be the same wicket as the other day, or will they move to a different strip, do you think?
No, they'll move to the one that's alongside
right.
it. There was 2 prepared, wasn't there? The really weird thing, though, was they didn't put a mat or anything else like that on the other wicket, because you had the batters running up and down it all day. But I suppose they've had a couple of days to get it in tip-top condition.
Right, so let's move on to Namibia then. And, they're the favourites to win the game. 1 to 2 favourites in general, which in cricketing terms isn't the shortest price in the world. It means, the bookmakers certainly do give the Netherlands a live chance. Of course, both teams won their opening games. Namibia, very impressively, against Sri Lanka. What did you take out of that performance?
I thought they were very good. I kind of gave them a squeak going into it, didn't I? Even though I thought Sri Lanka were... good things to win the group. They batted really, really sensibly. They didn't sort of go brain dead at the start, and then when they finally got 2 players that were in, they took advantage of it and got themselves up to a decent score. And when they bowled, they just put the ball in the right areas and said to Sri Lanka, chip them up in the air for us, and Sri Lanka duly did. So yeah, no, really good performance from Namibia, but obviously the key dynamic to that is they'll have been the underdogs. It was their free hit in the group, so to speak. As you can see on the screen in front of you, they're not underdogs here, and this is anything but a free hit, because effectively the winner of this group, particularly with a bit of rain around towards the end of the week, the winner of this game, highly likely to win the group.
So far, it's been a tough tournament for teams chasing, but the Netherlands did manage it against the UAE, albeit it was very nervous. And I mean, at one stage, I certainly didn't think they were going to get home. But I mean, they've got the win on the board, and that should give them some confidence, shouldn't it?
Yeah, there was absolutely nothing convincing about that Netherlands run chase whatsoever, was there? And had the UAE captain taken that catch, as you mentioned when we recapped on those games, had he taken a catch with about 20, 25 runs to go, we're probably sat here talking about a Netherlands defeat. But as I mentioned a minute ago with Namibia, the dynamics have completely changed. Netherlands had to win that game to have any chance of coming out of the group. This one's the first of 2 free hits, really.
Who do you think's going to win this game of cricket, Kev?
I just think Namibia are just a bit better in all departments. Interestingly, Steve, these two played last year in this tournament, in this very round, and Namibia won by 6 wickets. And it was quite a high-scoring game. It was in Dubai, but 160 played 160 for 4. And Namibia just had that little extra class, and I think they've got a little bit more batting depth, as we saw in the first game. And I like their bowlers a little bit more. I'm not convinced by this Dutch attack, and I don't think UAE did anything to dissuade me of that.
Do you think whoever wins the toss will bat first?
They should do. They should bat first, because we saw the arse fall out of the wicket completely on Sunday, didn't we? And there's nothing to suggest that's not going to happen here. I mean, you flashed up the temperatures earlier, 21 degrees, so any moisture is going to come out of this pitch, isn't it? So, yeah, no, I would want to be batting first. However, I suppose there's always that fear, isn't there? The boundaries here, the square boundaries here, are bloody short. So you don't want to be defending them if you can help it, I suppose.
Right, so you've got a couple of main bets for this game and also a top batsman to come. And both of your bets are in the performance markets again at Bet365 here. As far as I'm aware, I don't think any other bookies are actually offering this market, but hopefully that'll change as the tournament goes on. Let's start with your Namibian performance guy. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going with the player of the match for them in the first game, Steve, Jan Frylinck. I mean, what a match he had in that first game. 44 runs off 28 balls at a time where his team needed an innings to get them up to something sort of above par, really, as they turned out. And then when he had the ball in his hand, 2 for 26. So really good all-round performance. It's that klaxon time, Steve, 3D cricketer. I need a klaxon as we go through this competition, the amount of times I say that. It's not necessarily that performance that interested me, though, with regards to this performance bet. It's his record against the Netherlands. They've met, as I mentioned, in the last World Cup, and he took 2 for 36 in that game. He didn't bat. He batted lower down. And in the previous World Cup, they played each other in the qualifier for that, which the Netherlands won, and they won that quite handsomely. But despite that, Frylinck still took 3 for 25 from his 4 overs. So there's something about his left arm bowling that the Netherlands batters don't seem to like. Now, obviously, that qualifier was a completely different Netherlands side to the one that he played against last year. But there aren't many batters in this Netherlands team here that didn't play last year. The only difference is generally in their bowling attack. So he's got a good record against this team with the ball. 2 wickets again, and that gets that line covered. I mean, here we don't even need 2 wickets. We could get sort of a caught and bowled would get us 30 points, and that would also cover it. But he's likely to bat. He'll definitely bowl, and obviously he's still around for any catches that come his way. 3D cricketer, less than 30 points as well. Real great value, this line.
Yeah, remember, 1 point for every run scored, 10 for a catch, 20 points for a wicket, 25 for a stumping, although he won't be getting one of those. But yeah, below that 30-point mark on the performance is important, because caught and bowled in one motion of a match, you're in. You can win that bet.
You can literally be dead and buried for 239 balls in this game, and then he bowls the last one of it. Someone smacks one straight up in the air, straight for him to catch, and all of a sudden you've had no interest in the game, and you've got yourself a winning bet.
I know, it's kind of crazy, that, isn't it? But yeah, good one to start with there. And you've done well with the performance bets in this Cricket World Cup so far. And you've got another one here on a Dutchman, Bas de Leede, who I know you're a big fan of, and you wanted to get a performance line on him for the first game, but there wasn't one offered. But now you are snapping it up. Yeah,
that was so annoying, because he played really well in that first game as well, didn't he? He took 3 wickets in 1 over, actually. 3 for 19. He scored 14 runs. I really like this guy, Steve. I know they've got high hopes for him at the Netherlands, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's a county cricketer in the not too distant future. He's a really, really good player. I'm just going to read out some stats. In the warm-up game against Scotland, who've pretty much franked the form, he took 3 for 20 in that game, scored 8 runs. As I say, he took 3 for 19 against UAE, scored 14 runs. But where I really like him is with the bat against some kind of established sides. Now, this is all largely in ODI cricket. But earlier this summer, he scored 89 against Pakistan in an ODI. Now, that's a pretty good bowling attack that Pakistan have. And in 2 T20s against New Zealand, again, pretty decent bowling attack. He scored 66 and 53 not out, and he took 1 for 13 in the second one of those games. And in the qualifying competition for this, he was full of wickets, and he made 91 against USA. This guy is your archetype 3D cricketer. He'll bat 3 for Netherlands. I think he came on first change in the first game. Really got some pace about him. I think, was it you quoted me, wasn't it? He's nearly touching 90 mile an hour.
Yeah, I saw that, and I couldn't believe that the Netherlands had a bowler that was, I think it was 88 or 89 mile an hour. And, no disrespect, but you just don't expect them to have someone that fast. But
and also on that pitch as well, that was pretty
Yeah.
sluggish. So he gets the ball through. He's a young, athletic guy, so he's decent in the field. Again, all over this. Just an average day, Steve gets this covered. But if he's special with bat or ball, he'll definitely cover.
Well, he's batting very high for a start, isn't he? He's bowling very high. 34.5 performance points. That's all we need here. That's another 3-unit selection. The first performance on Jan Frylinck was also a 3-unit pick. Let's move to the top batsman market. You've got a pick in the top Namibia lineup here. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going with David Wiese, Steve. Last year's game actually kind of convinced me to take this one. Wiese top scored in that. He batted at 6. He top scored 66 off 40 balls. That was in Dubai. Wiese is probably more of a back foot player than a front foot player, so he'll be more suited to the conditions here. Obviously, it was a bit unfortunate in the first game, wasn't he? Came in against mystery spin, and anyone can get out to them in the first sort of couple of balls. But actually, he played a cut shot that got him out. The ball just bounced a little bit more than he thought. There's no Teek or anything like that in this Dutch attack, so that's handy. The Dutch are likely to bowl a fair bit of pace in this match. Wiese is a very good hitter of pace bowling. The only spinner of any note, really, for the Netherlands is Roelof van der Merwe. The Wiese and van der Merwe were teammates with the Northern Superchargers at 100 earlier this season, so he'll have faced him in the nets. In fact, he'll probably have faced all of this Dutch side in the nets because they all play county cricket, and Wiese's played for Sussex long enough that he'll have come up against most of them anyway, which is probably why he top scored last year with 66. I didn't think much to the Namibia top order in that opening game, Steve. I thought they were a little bit too eager to get on with it, and maybe the Dutch can sort of take a few early wickets. And I would imagine Wiese's going to bat 6 here. Frylinck actually came in above him in the last game because they wanted to keep a left-hand, right-hand combination at the crease. But if they don't try that caper here, which they shouldn't do really because the spin all goes the same direction, I think Wiese will bat 6, and I think it's a good position for him to top score because I think there were a few balls that the Netherlands bowled to UAE that were there to hit towards the end of the innings on Sunday, but obviously UAE got a bit giddy, hadn't they? They was trying to hit everything for 6 rather than just play cricket. But Wiese won't do that. He's quite canny, he's quite clever. And I'll pay it 7-1 to see how he goes. No one above him in the market particularly inspires me. So he looks decent value.
Okay, David Wiese, top Namibia batsman, 7-1. That is a 1-unit selection. Just going to have a look now at the Dutch top batsman market. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not expecting them to score huge numbers here. They were bowled out for, they only just chased 112, was it? Against UAE. And of course, Namibia have just bowled out Sri Lanka for a similar score. So, Max O'Dowd, you are on him. We are on him this for the top run scorer for the Netherlands throughout this tournament. And he got off to a semi-decent start. He did top scored for them, didn't he? Was it 20 or 30, something like that? And he's the favourite again. And I'm guessing you can't really look beyond this, lad.
No, I don't think you can, Steve. I mean, Namibia bowled Sri Lanka out, but Sri Lanka got an awful lot of, they gave wickets away. I mean, Nasanka picked out the only bloke he could possibly have picked out. Shannock had smacked one straight down the throat of someone on the boundary, and there was one other, I think it might have been Hasaranga, who did exactly the same. Funnily enough, it's exactly how O'Dowd got out as well in that first game, wasn't it? They're a better batting side than they showed in that first game, the Netherlands. I'm pretty sure that was just the weight of expectation and the pressure of having to get a low run chase that kind of restricted them. So I would expect much better from them with the bat. They put up 160 against this Namibia attack last year, so they should score an awful lot more than that. I still would fancy O'Dowd to top score, as I said right through from the start. I think he's the best batter in the side in terms of quality to place that he bats in the batting lineup. And if he'd hit that ball 6 inches higher on Sunday, it'd have gone for 6, and he'd have probably won them the game with a 60 not out, wouldn't he? So, yeah, stick with him.
Yeah. Brilliant. So, well, that concludes this particular match. Let's hope it's a good one. Let's hope we get some decent profit. The 2 performances would be great, and if we can top it off with the top batsman as well, then that would be rather excellent, wasn't it? So, a quick recap then on those 3 selections. Jan Frylinck Performance over 29.5. Bas de Leede Performance over 34.5. Those 2 bets are both 3 units and at Bet365. David Wiese, top Namibia batsman at 7-1. That's 1 unit, and you can get that price pretty much at most bookies right now. There's no real standout selection. So best of luck with that then, Kev. And let's start Tuesday with a bang.
Fingers crossed, mate.
Thanks very much for watching. Do hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks very much. Take care. Stay safe. See you very soon.